I'm curious about the inspiration, like, where do you get this inspiration from? So this question is for all of you.
Yeah.
Let's start from Faisal.
Faisal.
I think this is so some of the inspiration for these kind of experiences, some of them come from sci-fi, and actually the idea of the metaverse, as explained at the beginning of the show today, the idea of the metaverse comes from sci-fi, a book called Snow Crash. So ideas like that are sort of inspired from sci-fi, but I think something like that it's almost like a dream that you'd like to have in reality. So you would like to have that in reality. You'd like to see a sort of holographic globe which you can interact with. But the technology isn't quite there yet in reality. So dreams that we can't quite have in reality, we manifest in the metaverse. And I think that is a power, and that is how we kind of intuit the design process when we're working in the metaverse. A lot of the dreams and experiences that we want to have in the physical world that we're not able to, we try to manifest them in the metaverse in a way that is actually functional. So not just any kind of dream that is just mundane, but actually functional dreams that you can make a lot of use of. As you said, clicking on a specific country and getting an immersive experience of it, that's something that changes the way that you interact with the news, with broadcasting, but also it actually educates you. If you have to interact with the news as opposed to just typing a country or searching a list of a country, if now you have to use a globe and search for the country on the globe, the continent, the country within the continent, that educates you about geography as well. So it has layers of functionality within it, which really enhances the experience. And that is why I really do believe in this kind of metaverse experience enhancing us in physical reality as well.
Begüm? I think you did the overall design of the space in TRT project. So what was your inspiration?
The inspiration comes from the fact that it is a film inspired, and like this kind of digitalism inspired, and the fact that there is a history and a legacy behind it. Also the space itself is aimed to be minimal yet futuristic in the same time. Of course, this is the start of a vision, and within the project process, all the details, all the decision makings will be further developed. But as an idea, a legacy at the metaverse, in the metaverse, for the metaverse is very important, and that was our first main source of inspiration. And also the adaptability. For example, in the production studio visuals, you can see how we are envisioning. It's not only about creating one space or designing the space, but it's also making it sustainable in a way that a year later, would it be still functional? A year later, would it be still meaningful? And we are not creating anything that is for that today, as I was telling before. So sustainability in that sense is very important, and it's also one of the main inspirations. And coming to the globe example, while we are creating, every single decision in the virtual space has a reason. Like if there's a panel there, and if there is not a panel next to it, there's a reason for it. It's not about a design decision. It's about, through our research and through our project processes, we have came up with an important conclusion on the experience of an avatar and how an avatar is accessing an information, and as a mind, how mind is processing information. So for example, when you're entering in a space, in a minute, how much of information can you get? And if you get overloaded, you feel exhausted. If you have a lack of experience, you are not happy with your experience. So there is a very important balance between the content creation. So content is one of the most important things in the metaverse, because you can experience the design, you can experience the architecture, art, everything, but it would come up to a point that you're fed by the content itself. So if the content is, again, in a globe example, placed in an immersive globe, that you can really click on the countries. And the fact that in the second you can understand what's going on in another country, your neighbor country, and that country. So you are able to, in your mind, create a mind map of information and process it. And while you're doing it, you are in an environment that is specifically created for that project. So that's how you become a fast thinker. The experiences that, and also it's very evident that every single month, the amount of our span of attention is decreasing. And Metaverse will also make this happen more. So how are you making people engage in 10 seconds, in 1 minute, is the first question that we ask.
So what about you, Sara? Can you link yourself to the universe anymore in terms of creativity?
I'm very much disconnected. To be honest, you know, ever since I started with the Metaverse, I became a meta-human myself. And I always wanted to, you know, just stay in that bubble and not leave it at all. And a lot of people tell me, like, okay, you know, you need to really disconnect somehow. But it's super fun to be in a place where you could unleash your creativity. When we first got when we first started discussing the TRT project, the first thing that came in mind was, oh, it would be interesting to have that globe where you have, you know, multiple points, and you know, you could either go back in history or you could go to the present and see a specific news that you can, you know, jump into. And this is really feasible today because you have technologies like 360 video where you could potentially do a whole storytelling on 360 video. And as an avatar, I'll be able to be in that space, you know, watching these people film or report a specific news, and that will also attract more audiences, even the new generation, even with their attention span, because it's a new experience and they would want to be, you know, it resonates with the audience. The fact that I could feel something through a storytelling, not only by seeing it on the screen, but also by being there, by watching it happen, and that will create more empathy for the humans, even though we're being disconnected from the physical reality.